birthday to us.
Oh man, that's totally a very creepy
Cop-
vibe. I like it.
Copyright. Oh, we're getting demonetized again. Damn it.
Yeah, when you say that, I felt like you have some like pelvic thrust when you were doing it. Like
Well,
hat,
I kind of
shirt.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, like I can. Yeah,
Are you spying on
great.
me? I mean, do you have cameras in here? Like, what's going on?
I mean, I know what you're drinking right now. Anyway, welcome to the season finale of the
Season
Transparent
1.
Show.
Oh man, I can't believe that it would be the season finale since next week will be season 2. Who are we killing off for the finale?
Uh-oh.
I've been watching too much Walking Dead.
Garcia. I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
All right. So much for that. Yes, welcome. You guys want to talk about Bitcoin and then maybe transitioning into miners a little bit, and then maybe we can talk a little stocks, and then maybe take some requests, and then go back to our families and drink ourselves numb after that. How does that sound?
Yeah. Sounds fantastic.
Sounds great. Yeah, we're gonna do like a special.
Well, yeah,
a special show on the miners.
I guess since I have
time to look at them. So go ahead.
Yeah, I guess since I have the Bitcoin chart up, we can just take a look at the daily activity day over day now. We haven't really seen this in a while. 3 days in a row on top of this 1.272 fib, and it's holding. And we might actually have the highest daily candle close ever. Yeah, mind you, could this be the highest daily candle close? Yeah, there's been no daily candle ever closing this high before. Only wicks there, so this could be getting interesting to continuing higher. But is it going to break this 109.356? I think that is the question to ask. And if I do go to the linear scale fib here, I just wanted to show you the weekly linear scale GAN that I have. How I think if it does continue higher, we could see going to this arc above, which is really around 113.5, 113.6, or it could just break right through it and go directly towards the 2.272 and the top arc, maybe 130s, 137 or so. So things are looking more and more explosive, potentially. But this is a bullish setup, right? We do have really a base building on top of this linear scale fib and log scale fib. So it's something really interesting to see, and I'm really excited for this to finally break above, but I'm not sure if this is going to be the week, so we just have to wait for some kind of confirmation with that.
Yeah, looks like the 1.618 got a broke back there. That's very nice.
It did have a couple of broke backs after it broke out.
Yeah, lovely, yes. Perfect test to your 1618 there.
Yeah,
it's mountain. It's mountain.
The evidence,
1.618.
The evidence for continuation of bull market is Sir Mountain. Yeah.
That does sound good. Yeah, and I see some great developments too for others, actually, which would be, I think, a good segue into some of the miners later. But I just wanted to point this out that when we go to the weekly chart here for others, it has flipped the 50-week moving average to a support for the past 3 weeks. And that's what I've been paying attention to the most of that. So I think 254 billion, hold that. It's going to go higher. All that's holding it back, it looks like, is really this 200-day moving average. Got rejected for like a week there last week. But I think we can break through it, and it's holding the baseline too. So this is setting up really nicely for a continuation higher. And I think once we break above some of these levels, we'll see some pretty explosive moves.
Yeah, it's so different from a year ago now too, right? Because now we have the Bitcoin president or crypto-friendly administration. And I mean, gosh, crypto's really been looking up since then. We got Gary Gensler out and all that good stuff. The Ripple lawsuit's been dropped. So yeah, things are smelling like roses everywhere in crypto land. And I think
Yeah.
even what they're talking about making it so gains on crypto won't be taxable.
I think that's
It's
going
not,
to be a huge catalyst if it comes true. Yeah.
yeah, it's not signed, it's not law or anything, but it was been proposed, discussed. Yeah. Um, well, let's see. I just did a little research for the show. Um, I asked Grok to help me out with a list of the top miners and companies who use strategy for Bitcoin as their strategy. And here it is, the top 10. You know them, you love them. And I've asked Grok to rank them by market cap. I didn't double check these, so I'm not 100% sure that Grok is completely accurate, but I'm sure relative strength is correct. Number one, MicroStrategy. Number two, Marathon Digital Holdings. Number three, Riot Platforms, followed by Core Scientific, Clean Spark, Hut 8, Iris, Bitfarms, TeraWolf, and Cipher Mining. MicroStrategy is obviously the largest one. They don't mind. They just hold, they have like 2 or almost 3% of all the world's known Bitcoin. So they have their market cap is 83 billion. Then after that, among the companies that do mine Bitcoin actively are Marathon, who they hold a lot of Bitcoin as well, but their market cap is 5.5 billion. Then Riot 3.18 billion, Core 3 billion, CleanSpark just under 3 billion at 2.7. Then after that, Hut is 1.2 billion, and so on. What's interesting? If it said Bitfarms is 1 billion, why aren't you above Iris? Anyway, there you go. They get smaller and smaller as you go down. And then I'm going to break this down too. We'll talk about some of these charts and how they look to me. But before I go into that, Kat, do you want to say anything about the Bitcoin and the mining space? Or
I think you should just dive right in it, man. I mean,
all right,
yeah,
let's dive right in. Anything?
you got the momentum, so I want you to just penetrate the topic.
Okay, here we go. Penetrating the topic. I'm just going to carry this with me. No, this one right here. All right, so we go to the MicroStrategy chart, and I'll just hide this. So MicroStrategy, I take it from the all-time low to the all-time high to this the February 18th, February 24th low, the weekly chart. And that becomes my wave one, wave two. We're going into wave three. This is wave three sub one, wave three sub two. And right now where Bitcoin is, where MicroStrategy is, we've gotten over the 11.4 and the 236. And right now the 382 has been resistance. So what I'd like to see is if MicroStrategy can't 1.8 before testing back down to the 236. But just anytime you see a stock, and I've been talking about this a lot in our live shows in the morning. If it's below the 236, that's a great place to start because it's sort of shown that the bottom is in, but it hasn't gone to the first extension. Like usually the 382, I would call it like your minimum target, my minimum target. And a lot of times they extend higher, like the 618 or the 764. So let's see. So that's MicroStrategy. It's at the 382 Marathon. Hang on a second. I don't know what happened to my voice here. All right, Marathon is after it's. I'm just looking at the smaller degree 1-2 from the 311 bottom to the $33 top, and then the 949 higher low. It's right under the 23.6. So if you don't have any of Marathon, this is a great place to add it because my supposition, but technically, I believe it'll get over the 23.6. That will become support, minimum support. Run up to at least the 382, and then could test back down to the 23.6. I'm looking at the Lux Algo, excuse me, the Lux Algo order block detector, and it's got a big, they're sort of looking high, but the 764 looks like a ripe target. So I was just talking about it this morning. I think it could go 104% higher to the 764. And if it does that, then it runs all the way to the 764, and then the support level will be the 382. So again, getting it here below 1680 is a great place to enter because after it goes up to the 764, it should never go lower again than than 2132. All right, so there's Marathon at the 236. Riot's also at the 236. I'll just show you that real quick. Here we go. If we could do retraces, it would move a lot faster, a little higher. But so far, Riot's just done. I'm just going to look at this 1-2 right here, and it just finished fighting off the 11.4% mini boss fib extension. So again, a great place to add it if you don't have a position in it. Again, this one could target the 764 just based on it could go to the 618 or the 764. Let's just be conservative and say it goes to the 618. That's 88.5% higher than where price is right now. And then so it would go up to the 618 and then test back down to the 382 and so on. This right here, I've just drawn what a retrace would look like, which would be huge. But let's just one crime at a time. Let's see how it does with the fib extensions here. And let's see, Core Z next. Oh wait, did I skip Riot? I skipped Riot. No, I just did Riot. Cores is at the 382 right here, or I'm sorry, it's just under the way between the 236 and 382. Still a great place to add because after it goes up to 1246, it probably will only come down as low as 1007 and then head up again. And of course, it could also run to the 618 or the 764. We'll know depending on how excited people get about Bitcoin moving to the next level here. HUT. HUT 8 is also, let's see, put it right there. It's right at the 236. So great place to buy it because this should be support, minimum support if it goes to the 382 and then back again. It kind of looks like, let's see. Yeah, let's just follow these smaller fibs. The larger retrace, I was saying it would be targeting the 53.2, and it'll probably do that. Something I don't talk about in the daily shows. I don't usually have time to talk about it. Is the relationship between the retraces, which I'm going to put this on the left. I look at the retraces on the left usually, and then the fib extensions on the right. And what I look for is parity or some confluence between the two. So if this really did bounce up to the 618, that's right about the 1618 or even just the 1382. Like maybe it fails to quite get there the first time. So, maybe this will do the third wave could come to the 1382. The fourth wave could come back to the 100%, which is just above the 382. Or maybe it goes to the 764, just under it. And then finishes off at the and then starts good to do his extensions higher over the 886 fib would take it up to the 238.2%. Fib extension would be like the 88.6. Where are you? Let's just use Z right here. 0.886. Actually, all I have to do is I've got a TGM left here. There we go. Yeah, and the 886 it's smack in the middle between the 2236 and the 238, which is where my 5 waves would end up. So anyway, continuing on with this. Well, basically, we can just look at the summary now. So you get the idea. HUT 8 is at the 236. Iris Energy is at the 236. Bit Farms, we'll just take a look at this because it is a little different. It's still, it just finished fighting off the it just got past the 11.4 mini boss. Down here at $1.04. So if it goes to the 382, that is from where prices right almost 80% higher, and then it would come back down to the 236, and that should be support. So there's a chance to buy it before, underneath what will become support at $1.50. All right, so there's that. TeraWolf's at the 236 and Cypher Mining's at the 236. It was kind of looking at these charts that made me say time to do a miner special, because this is a great time to enter any of these charts under what I believe will become support at the 382 fib extension on all these charts. All right, there. That's my segment. Don't all jump in at once. Matt or Cat, you have any thoughts?
I think it's Cat's turn. It's Cat's turn now.
Okay.
Cat, you got to show us what you want, what we want to see.
What do you want to see? Anyway, you can flip over to me. It's fine. I mean, I can always talk your ear off too.
They're looking at my crazy spaghetti chart there. I kind of try to again.
Yeah, no, the truth is they all have their own special thing. A lot of them have ran a lot and they've started to correct more, whereas those have corrected more are starting to really come back to life. But the very truth is this, right? Like if you're looking at miners, they're really, and if you try to think about from cycle behavior, what they've done in previous cycle, we really don't have a whole lot of choices, because there only really been four miners that become public, and like a couple of them are Canadian, that have really been around since not this past halving, but the halving like before that, and the bull market before that, which is going to be Riot, Mara, Hut 8, and Bitfarms. Those are really going to be the four. And then when it comes to all four of them, there's only like Mara that has really been showing more or less some pretty decent cycle behavior, if you will. So I got Mara here on the left side, I got IWM here on the right. And I've been saying this for a very long time. These are small cap stocks. They mine Bitcoin, they hold Bitcoin, but the last cycle, even during the last cycle, even Bitcoin was going up, like crazy, starting around like, I think like August or something like that. Like the miners were lagging behind. I think they were waiting for the IWM to really like try and push through to all-time high. And whenever that happened, that's when like, Mara, Riot, everything just kind of shot right up, right? We really haven't had that. Like I'm going to kind of show you in terms of what I'm thinking here. First of all, if you're looking at just the Mara chart, and I think it's good. I think Tracker, you like to do more linear scale. I like to do more log scale. Log scale is something can show you some pretty crazy things, especially when we look at fit levels, right? I think more likely than not, if you have to talk about elite waves, I think more likely than not, I think this whole thing was, completed a 1, 2, 3, 4, and got a truncated wave 5 up here, And I think that's probably, then this is Mara, this is probably like the greater wave 1. And I see that, I'm looking at the waves here, I'm trying to do like some, fib retrace. Let's say that's wave 1, right? It retraced to maybe 0.618, and then it just shot, way up, it went kind of to, it eventually went up to like, to 2. And then I think that was the end of wave 1 there based on log scale, and then retraced down, back down here. And retraced kind of close to, wait, I flipped this. I should probably do it the other way around. If retrace close back to like the 0.5 and 0.382, and I think that was the wave 2, right? That was greater degree wave 2. And I think wave 3 is this big giant thing right here. And what we're seeing here, this is like subwave 1 of 3. And crap, I should probably do it the other way. This is subwave 1 of 3, right? And I think it retraced back to about 0.5, which is like reasonable, for like a wave 2. This is 1. This is 2, and I think we're getting ready for 3. I think 2 is like this right-sided, like right-angled broadening wedge. These things are generally like a bullish kind of pattern. Whenever they're done consolidating, if it breaks out, I think we might be handling wave 3 of 3 here, and wave 3 of 3 is generally like the most powerful one of all. So that's kind of where we're setting up here, is what I think. And I think because wave 2 has been lasting for so long, that I think wave 4 is going to be real quick. I don't know how high it would go. I can speculate in terms of how high it would go, but I think it's all speculation. If you look at fit level. Like, I suppose it hit like any of these fit levels up here, wave 3. Like usually it might hit like 1.618, maybe a little higher. I don't know. But it's been building a lot of energy for it to kind of go up higher. I think Bitcoin's going to go higher too. And I think whenever it ticks off, it's going to shock a lot of people's minds. But I think we're also waiting for IWM to take off too. IWM just had like a pretty drastic sell off too, and if you kind of compare the two charts here, they look very similar in morphology, and I think they're more correlated than anything else. And I think we both have like a big flush down right here, and we're both trying to recover right here, and we're trying to recover at a very similar spot to the other horizontal zone right there, as opposed to like a horizontal zone right there. I think we're basically trying to break out of a horizontal resistance zone right here at the same time. It's been consolidating for so long that whenever it does that, it's going to be pretty powerful. But that's going to be like my first message. My second message is, if you want to compare them all, I think they all look, they all look different. Here it looks like Clean Spark here is trying to break through the Ichimoku cloud here for like 15 months. It's not been able to do that, but it's been building a lot of energy. It's trying to break through resistance here. I think that it will, and I think when it does, it's going to break through the cloud here. It's probably going to backtest it, probably going to go a lot higher. I also think that this is like 1 and this is 2, and I think wave 3 of 3 is probably coming, right? If you go back to Mara, I think this is 1, this is 2. It's underneath the cloud here as well, and I think it probably would break it and do a broke back, and then just kind of go up higher from there. Cypher is a little bit tricky. Cypher, it did have a little bit of like a very big run right here, and it did end up having a channel on the way up here, but because it just kept on going up here for so long, when it corrected for 6 months, it really did it in a very, very brutal way. So I think Cyber's trying to play catch up, but Clean Spark probably got more repairing here. I think Mars probably got more repairing here going, because if you also look at the weekly chart here too, you can see how like Mara is really reclaiming the conversion here. Cypher is too, but let me see here. But if you're looking at the 2-week, like Mara is also reclaiming the conversion here 2-week. Clean Spark also reclaiming that. Cypher is underneath, Bitfarm's underneath, Iron's underneath, Wolf is underneath, BTBT is underneath, Riot is underneath, Hut is underneath. You keep going. I actually, yeah, like KRYS is underneath. I think a lot of these things, even though Mara and Clean Spark hasn't really done anything, I think the recovery actually had happened over the last 6 weeks or so. So they actually are just kind of waiting for the rest of them to catch up while they're repairing their technicals here. I think the rest of them are all probably going to end up catching in one way or another, and I think the ones that are stabilizing are really more Clean Spark and Mara. But Iron's also starting to look pretty good. Wolf is also starting to look pretty good. If I did a video last night basically talking about this like Morningstar patterns. These Morningstar patterns basically like a big giant candle down, and you have like a doji indecisive candle, and then reversed by another big candle up, right? These are generally marked very decent bottom here. There's a little bit of a Morningstar here, a little bit of an asymmetric Morningstar here. Show an example. Mara has many of these. We're not really having a perfect example right now, but we had it right here that worked out pretty well, right? We kind of had it right there-ish. And then the top right there, that's the evening star. That's like the reverse, that basically created a big giant downtrend from there. And this is the morning star that you see from like the cycle bottom here previously. So if you're looking at these things can be pretty powerful. And you're seeing that pretty much across a lot of miners. You're seeing that at Iron. You're seeing that at Wolf. You're seeing that with BTBT, right? You're seeing that with Riot here. You're seeing that with HUD 8 here. You see it a little bit here at KRYS too. You see it with BitDeer, So you see it really. This is WGMI. It basically is like the miner ETF. It's basically showing you the same thing. And the last time it kind of showed kind of like a Morningstar pattern over here was over here. So I don't have much else to say. I think I probably took up too much of your time, but I just wanted to show you that I think these things are looking to form a pretty decent bottom. And I think the consolidation might all be like a prolonged wave too that got all the people's mood all sterilized, if you will. And yeah, and I think this is probably a good time to like get into them as opposed to when everybody was caring about them. So that's all I have to say. Yeah.
What do you think
Very,
about
very
this
nice there.
Metaplanet?
I mean,
Block.
yeah. I mean, I don't think too much about it, to be honest, because if you really want a history, you really have to look at the Japanese version because that's really where the
Oh,
history
right, you
is
talked about that.
located. Yeah, like we don't have the one that everybody's talking right now is like over the counter. There's nothing to chart here, but if you look at this, there's nothing bearish about it here. You know, it basically reclaim the monthly technification is about the monthly cloud. It looks like it wants to keep going higher. You know, only the only thing is like, yeah, it's breaking the upper Bollinger Band here again. It probably keep going up higher. On the weekly, it looks like it wants to keep going higher too. This actually looks very similar to MicroStrategy. I don't know. I don't like to chase these things. And the other thing too is whenever you're seeing something like this, whenever things just keep going up and like on bearish divergence, I'm like, I'm good. You know, it could keep going up for a while. It looks like it's a bullish chart, but it's I just don't like to chase, and it's showing some signs of exhaustion of this big giant trend. So I'm just gonna probably like stay out of it and maybe look at a little bit more, be a little bit more patient, look at things that haven't ran yet. Maybe that's not the best strategy. I don't know, because sometimes it's better to buy high and buy high and sell higher. But I just don't really like that strategy. Yeah, if you do the OTC version, there's really like nothing to chart. It just looks like it's just been going up. You know, like I don't know what else to say about it. Even if you look at this, it's like way outside the upper Bollinger Band here on the weekly. Like I don't really want to chase. So anyway,
Oh, all right.
that's my thought
Hey,
on that.
Matt, show my screen. I've got a couple of Metaplanet things to show you now. Thanks. So I just did this quick retrace from this high since it started trading over here, OTC, of 528, and then test back down to this low of $1.51. And then you can see it struggled the 786, tested back down to the 618, had sort of a moment here between the 786 and the 886, and then boom, it went up. And I guess if I take this to an hourly chart, you can kind of see the levels more. It opened, or let's see, I guess it opened almost at the 1618, dropped back down to the 127.2, got back over the 141. I think this 1618 might be the peak because I just pulled up the TSC version of it here and looked at this history. And yeah, I'm going to take this from this this bottom right here. I guess I could do it from here. Yeah, let's do it from there. So let's just, I'm going to ignore that part. I'm going to say the lowest point that it reached after this peak here will be the start of the new cycle. And so here's your wave one, your wave two. It looks like it's going to the 7864. I'm sorry, the 764. Let me turn on, oh, this is not, and see if I can do US dollars. No, I can't. Oh, there it is. I don't know if it's gonna, I don't know if this will work. But anyway, it looks like it's at the 764, which means a 382 retrace is coming. Back to what is, okay, US dollars 540. I don't know if this equates to the Metaplanet over here. I haven't looked at this. No, it's different. It's different for some reason. Oh gosh, I guess let me just go back to the Japanese yen. So I think it's going to correct. I could do a percentage. Come on, TradingView. TradingView has been like this for me all day. Just kind of like a bit on the slow side. If I just demand it over again here, Metaplanet, TSE. There we go. So yeah, usually after a 764 extension, I would look forward to go back to the 382. Then the 132 and 2382. Just like that. So I don't know. It looks like it's worth a gamble after it tests back. Let's see in percentage. maybe down about 31% from where it is now. So let's see on here, that would be, no, wait, from where it is now. $31. Oh yeah, kind of back to this, back to the top of the 100% fib here. Yeah, I think I like that. So yeah, look forward to close this gap and test all the way back to the top of the 100% fib at 528. Let's just that means it drops through the Ichimoku conversion line and the baseline, 528. All right, so there you go. That's just a quick analysis by looking at the Japanese one that had a little bit more history. Oh, that's all I had to say about Metaplanet. Everyone loves they all want to hear about it because the new kid on the block and everyone's excited, and you can see the excitement is palpable.
Everybody's talking about it, which makes me cautious about it. Maybe I'm like old and not hip, but it does make me a little bit cautious. So. Oh yeah, Matt, if you want to flip back to me as well, I kind of want to show another couple of things here real quick. We're talking about comparing miners, and you remember I was like, when you look at like Mara and CleanSpot, they feel like they're doing nothing, but they actually repair their charts the most, because this is the 20-week moving average. You see, like, out of all the miners, Mara has reclaimed the 20 so far, CleanSpot has reclaimed the 20 so far, whereas everything else, this is Cypher, Bitfarms, Iron, Wolf, maybe getting close, BTBT, Riot, HUD 8 getting close. Like, I don't have Galaxy, doesn't have anything. Even KRYS is trying to reclaim it, right? Hive is under resistance. BitDeer is trying to reclaim it. So this is another way to kind of see which chart may be a little bit more repairing than others. It looks like all these that I just show you, maybe BitDeer, maybe KRYS, and then maybe Mara, maybe CleanSpark, right? And all of these, when they're trying to reclaim them, there's a little bit of Bollinger squeeze here too. So maybe there's a little bit of a trend change here that's coming up soon. Look at the daily too. It's pretty interesting. Like, you can see the trend change is pretty palpable, and maybe that's probably why people are starting to talk about it. It's been forming higher highs and high lows. Pretty much all of the, like, everything across the board with miners, with altcoins, everything, they're forming a head and shoulder here with a breakout and a bear back. Not bear back, sorry. Broke back. Oh my god, what did I just say on live?
And that's our show, everybody.
That's our show, everybody. Yeah, we're totally going to get demonetized for this. So after we broke back, and we basically are, back testing this breakout, a lot of stocks are looking like this. What is going on with me? I'm so innocent. I totally am asexual. Anyway, so with this back test, it's happening across the board, right? CleanSpark is showing that. Mara is showing that. Cypher is kind of showing that. Bitfarm is kind of showing that too. Iron's kind of showing that. Wolf is kind of showing that. BTBD not quite, but develop a big giant cup right there. Riot is showing that too. Right, clear trend change here. Inverted head and shoulder and a back test. HUD 8 is doing that. Like, everything is doing that. KRYS is it doesn't even bother. It doesn't even want to do a broke back, if you will. And if you also look at others too, you're talking about the others chart. I was just looking at it on the daily here, and it's basically doing a beautiful, inverted head and shoulder with a back test over here. And on the daily, you can also see that it's been a downtrend, 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 downtrend. Oops, uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right in 20-day on the way up, right? So you kind of see this across the board. I was also looking at, like, even looking at Shiba. It's doing the same thing, inverted head and shoulder, breakout, broke back, right? So all these things are looking pretty decent. Doge is doing even more than a broke back here. It decides to kind of do a half-hearted broke back, if you will. XRP is doing the same thing. This whole pattern is looking like, it's basically everywhere. Ethereum is doing, like, I don't even want to touch you. Like, I'm done. Just get me out of here. I don't want to stay in that. Basically, all these things are kind of happening across the board. Look at IWM. It's the same thing. Head and shoulder. Maybe I'm waiting for the back test. Maybe it's going to close the gap down here. Maybe it's forming a little bit like an island reversal here. But these patterns are all across stocks and crypto and it's happening all across miners. They're all basically synchronously looking like they are doing a broke back. Man, I had to be very careful when I said that. Back to you guys. I'm so done talking right now.
I think it's Matt's
Well,
turn. I only say that because I'm
yeah,
working on a little side project here to show you guys after he's done. Hopefully, I get it done before
yeah.
he's done.
Matt, take over,
Yeah.
please. Somebody else take over.
Somebody. Cat has one thing on his mind right now, and that's not stocks. All right. Yeah, let me just switch over to me. I got something to add in confluence with your IWM stuff.
I'm
Still
going to
giggling
close the
back
mic. I'm
there.
going to laugh for the next 10 minutes, so please feel free to go ahead.
Fair enough. So I made a post about IWM, how a lot of Bitcoin miners are kind of behaving similarly. And we can see that the 100-day moving average, it has been resistance for IWM for the past 3 days, and it's unable to break above, which is kind of similar to when you look at maybe like a Riot. You know, it's still getting rejected by the 100-day as well, the blue line, right? That's the 100-day. And when you look at maybe a Mara, it actually broke above. So maybe this is like indicating this could be a trend reversal for the rest of them. But when you look at Cypher, it's still below, right? Still below the blue line. Iron, it's also just exactly looking in just like IWM as well. So this is just showing that maybe we're just starting the beginning phases of perhaps the miners starting to outperform IWM once they can actually break their resistance levels. And I do have a couple of charts for like Maya in comparison to IWM right here, the Mara IWM. And I have a GAN for that too. And you can see that it nailed the blue angle for the first time, suggesting that it could be time to outperform IWM. Like once it gets above this orange GAN level, then I think perhaps we'll see some outperformance, right? And then when we go to CLSK, we can see something similar to that in comparison to IWM. And something similar, right? It did hold that orange angle very, very nicely as a support. And perhaps once it starts getting above this arc, we'll probably see some outperformance for IWM. So even when you compare this CLSK IWM to Mara IWM, you can see that they are making higher highs and higher lows since the bottom. So I think once we get over these small little humps of resistance here, I think that's when we'll start to see more acceleration to the miners than anything else. So it is looking better and better in my opinion. And I think that it's only a matter of time before they start to explode. Really, I think what we're going to see is something very, very nice. And just individually here, we can go to like the CLSK chart individually, right? I think it can honestly get up at least back to the 786, right? Even with all that dilution out there. And guess what? That's $51. Does that seem pretty crazy? Maybe not, right? That seems pretty reasonable to me. Even Riot, not Riot, Mara, I think it could easily get back up to the previous highs up here too, maybe even the 200s, right? But right now, I'm just going to focus on the blue level to be more reasonable, right? $24, and also this is at 58. So if it did get back to the 786, just like CLSK, that would be $58. So I think a lot of people are underestimating stuff right now with the Bitcoin miners, and it's just a matter of time before the outperformance kicks in. And all of their supports have been holding perfectly. So I think it's almost time for them to shine.
That's so cool. I'm still not done with my thing, so talk about something else.
So I think Kat's still laughing back there, right?
I'm so jealous
Yeah.
that none of y'all have any Freudian slip, and I'm the only one who had it.
Well, you got a one-track mind, so that's why.
My one-track mind needs to be contained and stuffed away and into a reservoir. Anyway, I'm so done talking tonight. Okay, what do you guys want? What else? Tracker, what have you been working on?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do is just I'm quickly looking at my different charts and running up a flagpole to how much price improvement there is from where price is now to the wave 5 top to give you an idea of like which miners have the most potential here. And I'm almost done. I just have to do Wolf and Cipher. But you can feel free to switch over to me and just see what I'm doing. I'm just kind of doing this, and I'm grabbing this tool, and I'm literally running a little flagpole up to the 236. So that's 431%. And then I have to I don't have a tab control for the thing, so I have to hit the space bar a bunch of times. All right, cipher last. I forgot to put BitDeer, or the Grok did not give me BitDeer to work with. I guess maybe he gave me a top 10 list, and BitDeer must have been like number 11 or something. This one looks like, let's do the 2382, 430%. All right, and there you have it. Here's my list. Actually, just kind of get this. Here we go. A little less busy over here. So yeah, well, MicroStrategy, my wave 5 top for the current cycle takes it up 243%. The real winner is Z, Core Scientific, stands to gain 608% from where price is now to the theoretical wave 5 top that I've got. Actually, I'm sorry, no, the winner is Bitfarm. Bitfarm 758%. And then Core Z is second at 608%. So Bitfarms, Core Z, and then after that, it's a kind of a toss-up. Maybe Cypher and TeraWolf are tied for third. There you go. You can kind of, I don't know, take a screenshot or whatever you want to do with that, and there's my little project. Give you an idea of relative price improvements. You could see if each of these stocks fills out all 5 waves of their current impulsive setup. Matt, I want to ask you, let's see, well, is there anything else that we want to talk about with the miners? Or we got it all done? Because I was going to ask Matt a Tesla question next.
I think we're good with the miners. Yeah, I see good things developing. I've been telling my Patreon people that every single day. Like, the dips are really worth buying. So you can't be too afraid of something that's been punished for a long time, because eventually that will surprise everybody. But yeah, we can talk about Tesla. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's see. Where is a Bollinger Band? Actually, before I was just going to look at this one last thing, which was, show me the Bollinger Band on this. Oh, I was looking. Kat was showing all those cool Bollinger Band charts for the different stocks, and yeah, you can see like basically what they're doing is when I say, oh, it's trying to get over the 236, you can also see it's trying to nerve the Bollinger Bands, and then once it gets high enough, maybe the 618, or even pushes the upper Bollinger Band to the 764 and tests back down, then maybe by then the center of the Bollinger Bands will come up to the 382, and then the 382 becomes support. So, while my fib levels look like they're kind of static, the moving averages and stuff move along. You see how it just kind of hits the marks as the price develops. So anyway, there's just a little more about Elliott waves. So my question for you is Tesla. I have a outsized position in TSLL because I really like that it's over the 236. This new chart that I showed you guys last week, where I just basically take all of the price action from the beginning of time to the 484 top to the 214 bottom, and then that's my 1-2. Then I decided, maybe I also be able to just do one where I take it from the 101.81. So I published this publicly to everybody. So basically, it's either the black line chart that goes up to 1349, or it's this purple line chart if we only extend from the 101 bottom when Elon was selling Tesla shares to finance his Twitter purchase. That would take us to 1135. It doesn't feel like that different, but it's a little bit different. My question, Matt, is with the major resistance that you see on your chart, do you think I decided to cut my position in half and I had like $100,000 in it. Now I got $50,000 in it and $50,000 in cash. Do you think this tweezer top is going to send it back down That closes
Well,
down.
like
Is there any still?
I can flip to my
Yeah,
screen
please.
here just to show
Go right
you what
ahead.
I'm seeing. Yeah, for Tesla, I've been saying the whole time actually that since it hit the symmetrical support, it'll probably just gravitate to the green arc, and that's exactly what it did today. Right, it went up there and it hit the 886 as well, 353, and you know what else is resistance right here? What else is resistance right here is the baseline of the Ichimoku. So when you see that, put all that together, we are at a big resistance zone. But more importantly, it's like symmetrical resistance because among everything else, I've just noticed that it doesn't really care about fibs sometimes, doesn't care about anything else sometimes, but it does respect the symmetry of all. So until it really breaks above this 350, 356, 358, we can even go to the Tesla linear scale to see if it did actually touch the orange level of my linear scale again too, and not yet. Right, it didn't touch it yet, so we could see actually a little bit more upward momentum first, perhaps to the 358, 360s, maybe a couple of wicks above, just like we saw before, right back in February of 2025. So we could see that again. So perhaps a little bit more high, or a little bit higher first before any kind of rejection, but ultimately, I need to see some confirmation by closing these weekly candles above, and right now we don't have it. So I am going to remain cautious on Tesla for the fact that this is probably the biggest resistance zone it's had in a very long time. Since it broke out and back tested the 702, it hasn't really had that much weekly resistance in the way, so that's why I saw it melt up. So it's going to have to really prove it to me and start closing candles maybe above 358, 360 in order to get me a lot more excited about 400s again.
Yeah, whenever Matt uses the word cautious, I get cautious and decide to size down just at least temporarily.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Like bullish at support, cautious at resistance. It
Exactly.
would pay off huge. If you all loaded up down here, would you be angry at taking some profits up here? Probably not, right? Even if it went higher, you would still have money, or you would still have shares to capitalize on the gains ahead. But I just haven't seen a resistance zone this powerful in a while, so it could take some time to break free. But Tesla does Tesla things sometimes and just surprises everybody. So we'll see if it can break above. But honestly, this 356 to 358, 360 zone really, really going to be a strong resistance. So I'll be watching that very carefully in the next days, the next weeks to see if it actually can flip to support.
Woohoo! Right. Let's see. Well, I don't know where
What
to
about you? What
where
about
to
you,
go next.
Cats? Do
It's
you
a
have any Tesla
yeah.
stuff?
I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you guys said. I still think that those are more granular thoughts, though, because the greater idea is that Tesla is still a pretty bullish higher time frame chart. I think that you look at the monthly Bollinger Band, it's starting to expand, right? Which is a pretty incredible thing because whenever you have Bollinger Band expansion, that could lead to price gravitating up towards one end of the Bollinger Band, could keep price up that way while expanding a Bollinger Band, kind of like I did over here. You have a spread of Bollinger Band that eventually it will push up, right? So I think it's probably a matter of time, but I agree with you that sometimes a strong resistance zone can feel like forever for weeks on a weekly chart, but on a monthly chart it might not be anything. So I feel that if anything, it's probably just a little bit more of a short term kind of thing because I still think that the market symmetry and also the fractal still favors it going up. And even if it's a spot looking like here, like it was over here, it might take another month to break through. But I think once it does, it could be extremely powerful because the resistance is very powerful. So once it break back, man, I'm going to be very careful about what I say here. Once we once we break through, I think it's going to be pretty powerful when it does. The other thing too, I want to see if I can do this here real quick. Did a lock in here a while back. I want to say it's like 360 and 10. So and it was showing some really pretty decent market symmetry here too. Let me see if I can just do that here real quick. it was doing some pretty decent market symmetry too, because if I just delete this line over here, what it did really is just kind of push through this arc over here and it just backtest the arc right there. And technically it should go up here around like 700 eventually. It could have a lot of resistance here, like you were showing. I mean, even on the monthly here, the conversion line here is resistance, is trying to get through that, but I think that once it gets through, then there's kind of like thin air, if you will. So it's okay to take some time. It's going to take weeks to try to break through and and get rejected and try to find support underneath. I think it's okay. People are kind of going to be bitter about it. I'm done. I'm done accumulating Tesla. I mean, I've been buying all the way from like 320, 300, 250, 210. I've been buying all the way down. I don't really need to buy anymore. So if it gets down underneath back to like below 300, I might consider buying again. But I don't know if the market's going to give me the opportunity to do that, because it just seems like it's at a pretty important zone that it wants to break out of eventually. So we'll see how low it gets, and we'll see how long this accumulation party lasts. But I suspect it probably won't last that
Yeah,
long.
we're right where it is right now.
That's all.
It's precisely between that all-time high and that 214 low that we hit right after it. We're at the 50% level right now.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's a stock. I agree with Matt too. That it's a stock that shows really remarkable market symmetry. Nothing really matters. So I'm just going to keep following these market symmetry charts and see what they show us. And like Matt said, Tesla tends to surprise to the upside. So probably a decent idea if you're in TSLA to take some profits and off of like
Yeah,
a
because
double leverage position, so you don't have to experience the decay and all that. But
yeah.
Yeah, Matt, you're going to
Yeah,
say
just
something.
because if we do get rejected here pretty hard, it could easily go back to the 320s again and then just get a quick liquidity grab down there and then shoot up higher. So, I mean, having always having cash is always good, in my opinion, because if you have cash, you can buy the dips. If you don't have cash, you can't buy the dips. So,
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but if you ask me whether or not Tesla's bottom, yeah, I think it's bottom. I mean, like you touched the bottom of the cloud here, you got the trees are bottom, and it's also finding support here at like the rising 20-month moving average. It's bottomed, and it's building up to be a more powerful bull trend here on the long term. So to me, it doesn't really matter in terms of volatility. But you want to trade in and out, then yeah, it's at the resistance zone that you should be careful of. If you want to do that, then it's reasonable to take some chips off the table. So. All right, man. What do you guys want to talk about?
I want to read a couple things out of the
besides
chat. It's pretty funny. Random Video wrote that Doge is worth more than Mara. That's pretty funny. And that
Yeah.
Mara is equal to
Yeah.
Pepe's market cap.
Yeah, just to show you that market cap means like not very much. Especially it really doesn't mean much. I don't know how else to say it. And just to also show you, you can think of that either as like Doge market cap is way too high, or you think of Mara's market cap is way too low. But Mara's market cap is only like like a few $1 billion or something like that. It's not very big at all. I mean, compared to like the Bitcoin market cap, compared to MicroStrategy, is like tiny. It doesn't really take a whole lot to pump it. So that's kind of what what I'm thinking. Plus, like institution has been accumulating like up to about like 70-some% now. So even they keep diluting, which actually they haven't really diluted that much compared to the last bull run. I just don't think there are really that many shares around that they can really short. I don't know. But anyway, that's just my thought. But
Let's see. Well, we've got a request to do, since we're going outside of Bitcoin and we did Tesla, take a look at Google. I could share my Google chart first if you want.
Yeah,
and give you time to
go for it.
pull yours.
Go for it.
All right. See, weekly. I just rebuilt this thing the other day. Do I have to do an 8-hour? Okay. So Google. No, I should do it from the weekly. I'm sorry, my trading view. I don't know what's going on with it today. Oh wait, no, here we go. All right, so Google, if I took, what I did was I took from this 1405, it's actually about here, to 151.17 and then back down to 83.13 what a day that was. And so this is your 1, 2. It looks better if I do it like this. And we're in the third wave now. And I think, let's see. Yeah, we're just at the 618 now, and you can see it's also my weekly moving average 75 is kind of around. This thing really wants to heat up. Then, oh no, I see. I did. What have I done here? Oh no, this is the 1, 2. All right, so it did 764. It did more than 764. Didn't quite get to the 382. So you know what? Really, probably just in the wrong place. Sometimes you can I kind of fudge this right here, and I should probably fudge it back. See, I don't want to go negative with it. That's what I was doing. I was trying to split the difference without going too far. But more than 764, 382. So the 1382 was next. 287.61. So from where price is right now, the heart of the third wave should take 761 or 74% higher, which is right there. And the 100% fib will be support, 231.09. And then let me just get rid of that. This would go to the 2382, not where I've got it there, at 435.57. Or if I get rid of that, from our prices right now, this whole cycle takes it to 163.44. Now, this might be the end of this year, and this could be like in a year and a half or something like that. Yeah, Google, it's not as much fun as like a QUBT or a QBTS or QSI or QS, all those quantum things I talked about in this morning's show. Those move much faster. So I don't trade Google, but somebody requested it, so there you go. Heart of wave 3 to 3761, 75% higher is the way I see it. Order block detector, nothing there. I don't know. What do you think, Kat? You have a Google thoughts? Or Matt?
Yeah, let me see if I have any Google chart here.
It's so funny.
Have
because Google is like old.
I do have like a scan. Yeah, I do have a couple things. I mean, if you look at the market symmetry, actually looks pretty decent based on this monthly Gantt chart that I have here, because it's just basically backtesting arc over here is finding some support and looking like wants to do a little bit of a morning star, but not quite. It's just consolidating a couple of inside candles over here, but it's found pretty decent support here. Look at Ichimoku too. It's basically finding support here at a rising baseline, stuck in a range right here. The only thing that made me wonder about Google is it dipped down underneath the 20-month moving average. Initially, I thought it was going to take more time for it to kind of break back out, but it looks like it wants to peek its head back up above now. So as long as it's able to reclaim the 20, it would very much avoid the fate of 2022, where it broke underneath the 20-month moving average and kind of a bearish back test and couldn't break through back out and decided to take another leg down. And so far it's not really doing that. So it's giving me a little bit more confidence that this is just like a U-turn. It wants to reclaim the 20 and avoiding a fate that we had over here in 2022. Maybe it's a little bit more similar to what happened in 2018. That's kind of what I'm, looking at here. Here's another morning star pattern here, by the way, beautifully worked out. So I don't have too much bad things to say about Google. It's just like you said, it doesn't move much, and I don't really feel that, it doesn't give me enough excitement to really care about it, to be honest. So, but I'm just going to leave it. Yeah.
That's the same way I feel about it. And
Yeah.
I won't even use Google once X gets their X email. I'll just abandon my Gmail, and that'll be that. I probably won't use Google for anything else anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Google's still at their place. I was still hesitant because I actually don't know about like the privacy policies and things like that for X, and Google's been around for a while, so you're gonna have like some folks like me that are gonna be hesitant to switch over. Plus, also a YouTube channel and all that. So it's you're still gonna have people that are gonna stick around. I think Google's still gonna be fine, but you know, it's Yeah, I'm
They've
not
got
that
they've got
excited
tons of
about the
money. They
chart,
could
to be
pivot any
honest.
way they want. It's just a matter of like, well, what will pivot? Give up on things.
Yeah, but so did Apple. Like they have so much money and they invest in trying to come up with like an Apple car. That was a bust. You know,
Right.
trying to do these like metaverse stuff, and that was a bust. You know, so they're just wasting money. The only thing like Tim Cook is successfully doing is just share buyback, and that's I don't know what Google is doing with their money. Like I don't know. I guess Waymo is actually doing okay, but you know, anyway, I don't
Yeah,
know.
they still make tons of money on ad revenue and stuff. You know,
Right? Yeah, I don't think they're
the
going away.
metaverse will be
Yeah.
huge once they just come up with really lightweight, easy to wear devices. You know, nobody wants to wear a Meta Quest 3 on their head. The thing, you know, it's huge, but the
But
Apple Vision Pro,
at least it's cheap, you know? Yeah, at least
yeah,
it's
it's
cheap.
like some sun.
Like the Meta products, they can actually sell them because the price point people can actually afford it. And Meta looks great with the Morningstar look. Like this is a classic Morningstar look to it. All it did is just back test the 20 month moving average. It looks like it just bounced very, very the reaction is very, very strong, you know. So I think this thing is probably going to keep going. I think this bounce over here is very similar to this bounce over here, and I think it's probably going to end up just melting up here. As far as I know, it's probably going to keep going up. So, whereas Google has a weaker, it just has like a weaker looking chart. You know, like, I don't know how else to say it. So, you know, Meta,
No, I agree. I think
ooh, yeah, Google, yeah. So,
yeah, those, you know, I think that they've got those Ray-Ban sunglasses that have the Meta lenses in them. I was just gonna look. Oh, it's still 130. I've got 130% price improvement from where Meta is right now to the top of my wave 5 in this current
yeah,
cycle.
you want
Takes us
you
right
want to
down
show your chart
to
or?
yeah, it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I don't have
Let's
much.
see.
I have a question for you. What do you think
Just
about
yeah.
Palantir? Palantir is just doing nothing. What do you guys think?
I think it's
Well,
fulfilling your prophecy of oh, go ahead. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
no, you were saying prophecy. I'm interested. Go ahead.
Oh, you know, just the it hit the top of the Bollinger Band, so now it's gotta go sideways for a while. I've heard Kat say that about a lot of stocks in the past, and yeah, it's true. It hit wicked out the top of its weekly Bollinger Band, and now it's kind of like going sideways for a little bit. And that's fine. I mean, it's only one weekly candle. That's kind of it's an inside candle for the moment. I think it
Yeah.
can. I think it wants to go to 145 next, but it's just going to take a little time to get there.
Yeah, I think this look here is to me, it's kind of similar to how it looked over here back in like the August 5th scare. You know, I think we have a very similar dip down underneath the 20-week. You have the Bollinger Band kind of expanding, and you have a little bit of consolidation sideways up here. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking. But yeah, no, I agree. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I was watching that monthly Bollinger Band too, and it's still rating it as support. And because of that, I think it still has potential to press higher. I think it's around like what 118 right now or something,
Yeah,
119, 120.
117. Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
somewhere around there. And so, yeah, it looks like if that maintains, then people that are waiting for like sub 100 again, they probably will be waiting for a very long time to get that because the momentum is very, very strong right now, and it's really actually holding. If you just look at like a lower time frame chart, the back in the May 5th, like even on the 4 hour chart, if you look the May 5th previous highs, it's basically flipping that to a support. And it's pretty interesting how that is kind of developing there, and it's still right in that 20 average on the 4 hour chart too as a support. So good developments really on every time frame for Palantir, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how like it's stuck in range right now. I think people want to get out. Have probably already been trying to get out, and there's a lot of like demand zone down here. It might break down a little bit further though. I can see
Yeah.
potentially going to like 120 or even lower, but
But it honestly looks like the February and the early May highs are flipping to a support. It really looks that
yeah,
way. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty beautiful. All right, well, let's see
Hey,
what the volume is doing.
well,
Yeah, there's like no volume here. Yeah, it's possible it's being flipped at
Me-
support.
Let me show my chart here, because this is kind of an interesting thing I was talking about. How I like to compare the retracement fibs on the left with the extension fibs on the right. So here we had just this move from this 65.40 bottom. Well, it's technically it went from the previous all-time high of 125.41 down to 65.40, and so that's then going back up from 0 to 100. Well, the extensions, so that's 127.2 and 141.4, right here between 141.73 and 150.25. I wrote them right here. And then my fib extensions, 2, and then taking, this move from here to here is 100%. So from here to here is 100%. It's that same move. And to the 764, which is where a really bullish chart would go to, it's already kind of eased up over the 618. And like Matt said, it just looks like it's making the previous all-time high support. And then over the 618, it goes right to 764. And hardly anything goes straight to the 100% after. 764 is usually where it turns around. So that's why I'm targeting. It's right between the 141 and 127.2. 145.46 is my 764. So short, maybe it goes a little long, maybe it just settles right in the middle at 76.4%. And then it will likely want to come back to the 382. Something this sharp will test back. And you can see that kind of lines up around the 70.2, not quite the 618. I don't know. It could just test back to the 886, but I'm usually a 764 move. I like to see a 382 after that. And then this goes on, bada bing, bada boom. From where price is right now, hey, come here. That is 100 to the 2382 at 315.03 for the way I look at this cycle for Palantir. There you go. There's my trackers tracking of it.
Very nice. I see a request for gold. A few requests actually. I think we could transition that if you guys are done with that.
Yeah,
Do it.
All right, let's
Do it. Do it.
So people are really interested in gold, and this is what I see. Right from the 2011 high to the 2015 low. This is the linear scale fib, 2.618. Being rejected. These are monthly candles, mind you, 2 months in a row. So this looks toppy. I mean, last month's candle was a big wick. This month's candle is also turning into a big wick. And also, when you put on Cat's little Bollinger Band, it's starting to get rejected right there. It was the past few months, it was riding it as a support, but not anymore, which is exactly kind of at the same level as that 2.618. So if you put all this together, this could be a toppy thing, right? And the last time it really started to do that, when it broke the Bollinger Band as riding it as support, it was right here, and it was actually a couple of months red. But since there were really no fibs in the way, it just kept melting up higher. But now we are at a pretty important fib extension, and I think before it makes its way to 4,200, it's going to probably cool off and maybe even retest the 3,000 zone and maybe even go a little bit lower. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty toppy at the moment. I'm not sure if it really has enough room or oomph to break through this 33.35. So that's the level I'm watching right now. 2 months in a row, rejection.
Yeah, and if you're trading gold or for whatever reason, just put on the Ichimoku and look at it on the 1 hour chart, and and never sleep because that the blue conversion line tells you when it's really hitting weakness. And so far, it's just after hitting the Bollinger Band top and going sideways, the 1 hour Ichimoku conversion line is caught up to it. That's what's holding support right now. But if it drops below 32.88, then the next thing it's going to do is going to want to test the baseline down here at 32.54. And if that doesn't hold up, then it goes down to my moving average 75 and yada yada. It just keeps going down. So anyway, yeah, gold looks toppy to me.
What about you, Kat?
Yeah, I don't like gold. I see a tweezer top. Initially, I thought it was going to go up higher, so I don't have a gold chart looking at Coinbase, but Initially, I thought that gold was going to go up higher, but I agree with you guys' assessment. So let's, we can move on to something
Yeah, you got
else here.
Coinbase ready. Everybody wants to see it. Come on, come on, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a resistance zone. It's stuck in a range here for a long time. And if you look at the monthly, like this is a zone that I basically have it. This is the top of the range, this is the bottom of the range. And if you're looking at kind of like fib levels, I think like 0.618, it's log fib is pretty important. It's been holding. And right now we're kind of breaking above the 0.786, which is good, but we're still at a resistance zone here, which if you track this resistance zone all the way back here, back to like 2021, you can see how it's still resistance zone over here. So it's a pretty important resistance zone that we have a hard time breaking above. Here we had a little bit of false breakout there for a couple months, but nope, decided to get rejected here. Essentially, the entire thing is still a cup and handle, very complex looking handle, but there's really nothing bad about it except the fact that it's still underneath resistance and we still need to see it through, right? There are some positive developments here. One is you are above the monthly conversion line, which is promising. If you look at it monthly, if you look at weekly, it's above the cloud, it's above the baseline here, it's above a lot of different previous resistance, now flipping the support. It's above the 20-week, is above the 20-month. The 20-month is very positively sloping here. So there are a lot of really good things going for it. The only issue is really more this resistance zone that needs to break above, and I think that's going to be like the final boss. Once it really is able to consistently break above and even do a back test, I think it's gonna go up higher, but I would be more cautious if you are expecting to just push for resistance here. It might take some time. The reason why I think it might take some time is I mean, you have big volume over here, right smack into resistance, and so far we are still waiting for. I mean, it's only like 2 days in a week, but we're still waiting for the resistance to really get broken into. It might take a few weeks. It might even come back and back test. However, like we don't know how low it's going to go. It could go down to like 230s, going down to 2 teens, some around there. Back test before going higher. I think those are all possibilities that people are kind of neglecting here. We are having a pretty decent kind of like ascending triangle here. Looks like it wants to push through. But again, I just don't like the fact that it has like no volume here. I need to see what happens whenever volume comes in to see whether or not we're able to really do something here. That's kind of my thought on Coinbase. I don't know if you guys have any other thought on it.
I'd just say if you
Yeah.
hold a fib retrace and see if it's between the 786 and the 884, then that's pretty bullish. But if it's under the 786, then it probably struggling.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I'd like to see how it reacts. It looks like it's got a pretty decent bullfight, ascending triangle thing look
Yeah.
good, but I just need to see some volume to come in to see what happens. If not, then it could come all the way back down to 210 and close the gap. I think that's probably the lowest it would go because it's a pretty decent inverted head and shoulder pattern over here. It could back test it, and technically that would be completely logical, But I think I bet like the bond broker would probably be like, yeah, But I don't know. I mean, I just need to see some volume here and see how it reacts. It could just push through. If you have some volume push through, it can push through because there's not much volume over here over the last 2 days. So
let's see.
Anyway,
I've got.
You guys want to just?
Oh, go ahead. I've got
ahead.
ACHR by request,
No.
and then somebody said,
Yeah, you want to take over?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to take over? Go for it.
Okay, so here's my ACHR Aviation, and I said it publicly when I thought that it hit the top. I said, "Oh, that's a good place to get out." At the 764, 1370, it did extend just a little bit farther, but now I've got. But then it quickly fell off after that. 44 minutes ago at 11:20. So this retrace from 45 back down to where it started down here at 542. I'm looking for a 382, 236, usually a 618, but because it's so bullish, I think maybe it stops at the 50% instead of going to the 618. So I've got 993 is my target for right here. Well, actually, I guess The 382 is my target at 955, but it could stop short at 993. So somewhere between 993 and 955 is where I'd say it's time to get back into Archer Aviation. And then from there, it's going to want to go to the 1382 and 40 cents. So if you got out and you're waiting in cash, hopefully you can pick it up somewhere around here and get a price improvement of about 100. Able to get it exactly at the 382 to the 1382. It's 113.8%. So there you go. Just wait a little longer. Maybe tomorrow, maybe at the end of the week, 933 to 955 is your buy zone. And then someone says XRP, XRP.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I've got an XRP chart. And then Matt can
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, wait. Hang on, let me see my XRP. I've got it right. It's actually your XRP chart, one of your old XRP charts with my fibs thrown on. I predicted that it would run up to the, based on this linear scale extension, 1, 2, that would go to the 764 back to the 382. Look what it did. It went, I predicted 265.076, went to 265.8. So very close. And then I predicted it would come back to the 382 for 236.414. Actually went a little bit, quite a bit lower to 2.284. So it almost went to the 236, but not quite. Anyway, that's fine. And so my prediction next is it's going to go up to $3.11 for the 1382, back to the 100% at 282. And then this little cycle peaks at 386, but that's not the end of the story. That's just where it goes 5 ABC down, then that becomes 1, 2, and it will build up to higher, which Matt's going to talk about next.
Yes.
Matt, take it away.
Okay. Time for my other Gann charts that I like. No matter which Gann chart I draw for XRP, I just love it. I've always loved the symmetry of XRP, and this one right here, it's beautiful. Nobody can deny it. I know Kat loves it. It's just building a solid foundation now on top of the blue level and the ARC, back testing it beautifully, multiple, and it's ready. It's ready to go, but just not yet. And the reason why, I think a couple of things here. I have the 2-week chart on, and the first reason is this linear scale 786. It's getting in the way right here. You can see we can zoom in a lot. It got rejected 263, 156. So that wicked above got rejected. So this is kind of like a big boss level for XRP 263, and that kind of coincides when I go to back to the log scale and do the 2-week Ichimoku. It kind of coincides with the conversion line too, which is at 248. So we are at a big resistance zone right now for XRP, which is why it's not really exploding higher. But I think once it gets above this 248, once it gets above that 263, then it'll probably going back towards the $3 range and then towards all-time highs, right? And then after that fun stuff, then we can go back to the fibs again here and take a look at the fib extensions where it'll probably stop for the first time. So break all-time highs, probably straight to $8, I would say. And then after that, maybe kind of just depends, right? It kind of really just depends on what it's going to do. And it's really kind of reminded me when I go to the monthly chart right here. It's really reminding me of this big breakout right here. And then there's like many months of consolidation right here before a 700% monthly candle, right? It's really reminding me of that situation right now. A big breakout, months of consolidation, and just getting ready for a move higher. So I think it is coming, but again, we're not going to see any kind of explosive move until, let's just say 263, 265, that zone gets broken. So until then, it's just range bound, guys. Nothing exciting. And the range is technically between that 263 and this 225, right? This is the new range. And when you go to the weekly chart, you can see that it's actually building a nice base on top of that 225 zone now. We do have week after week after week of basically staying on top of it. And even better now is we're finally above both the baseline and the conversion line. And we actually just wicked through that baseline there at 234, and it's still above, right? So if we continue to ride this baseline as a support, then this could really set up to break above that 263 zone. So we have a lot of support, we also have that resistance, so it's just a battle right there. And I think support will win in the end, but it's just going to take more time. So just have patience with XRP, because patience, I think, will be rewarded, and it will become a lot more bullish. And so many coins right now are battling resistance, not just XRP. They all are. But once they break, I think things will start to fly, and people that are patient will be rewarded handsomely.
I always get excited when I see one of Map's vertical Gann chart lines coming up, and that one looks like it's right smack in the middle of what, July?
Yeah, it's July.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I just ran the numbers real quick. So XRP from where price is now to like 855 is my target, is 268% higher. So there's a there's an ETF that you could put your 401k on. It's called XXRP. That's a 2x ETF. So it's not going to get exactly double it from where it is now, but double, 268 would be 536%. You might get somewhere between 400 and 500% with that over the next few months. So that's what I'm looking at. I've got a bunch of XXRP. I keep adding to that as well.
Very nice. Yeah, all of them are pretty bullish. I mean, I could go on. I know a lot of people talk about Doge too, and Doge is looking better and better to me as well, especially when you look at the bull market support band. You got to see what it did, right? It flipped it back to, which is phenomenal for Doge. So I think it's just ready to go, right? It still has resistance above, just like everything else, but once it breaks above, it's ready to go. But so many charts look like this now. Like if you watch this bull market support band, you can go to Ethereum. Wow, it's support. You can go to ADA, almost support. You can go to XRP, trying to be support, right? You can go to Link. It's trying to be a support too. Like so many things are trying to break it. Like HBAR, AVAX, it got rejected, but it's trying, right? They're all trying to break that resistance or back test it. So things are getting more and more bullish as we speak, but they still have some resistance to break above. So this is why it's getting exciting. I think we're going to see some massive moves sooner than later. And when it happens, a lot of people will be chasing because they're not buying the breakout back test. And that's what I'm all about. The breakout and the back test of previous resistance flow to support. That is the name of the game to me. This is how you make the best kind of moves in the markets.
Yep.
Broke back.
That and holding like at least 20% of your portfolio in cash for that rainy day.
And 99% in XRP. Yeah, you can't go wrong, right? No. Just joking.
Love these broke back. They're amazing.
I know Cat's all about the broke back mountains too. He just can't handle it. He gets too excited.
And they also look very similar because the bull market support band is basically 20-week moving average, and I just also went through all the miners, and they're all looking very similar too. I think about a third of them is already over it, and the other 2/3 are trying to get over it. So it's pretty interesting how everything is trying to run together. Maybe.
And even Pepe is breakout with no back test. And I see somebody requested Pepe just now, and also somebody named Cantonese Cat requested Wilt Chamberlain. So I guess I'll let you do that one.
Well, you do Pepe first. What's your price target? I don't know.
I think it already got to the 1.618 from like this high to that low, basically. So what I can see honestly is probably getting back towards the orange level first, and if it can flip that orange level to support, which is at the 418, then I think it'll probably make its way towards like between this fib and the 3.618, or even the full extension too could be possible. I think with these meme coins, you can't say nothing is impossible because they just explode at random times. So this chart wants to be bullish, and because it wants to be bullish, let's just say from anywhere from this 0.000042828 all the way up to the 0.029. So if it went all the way up there, guys, that would be pretty massive. Well, let's just like speculate right here from current price all the way up here. Wow, it'd be 22,000% for a full extension.
Wow.
Nothing to sneeze at,
That's
but
a lot
not
of-
saying it'll
Yeah.
happen. But in the meantime, all I want to see is this orange level get flipped to support, which is basically the 2.272. So if that happens, then I think much higher. But if that doesn't happen, then I can't say otherwise.
Well, I hope it leapfrogs it. Certainly seems like that'd be something to good to do. It actually looks a little bit like the Jasmine chart, actually. But
Yeah,
anyway,
Jasmine looks good. I
Yeah.
mean, there are a lot more crypto
Yeah.
requests. Sure, I'll do Solana too. Why not? Where is my Solana? Donna. Where are you? There it is.
All right, 5 more minutes, guys.
All right,
5
we'll do
more
it. Bust out
minutes.
quick. Oh, look at Solana breaking above the bull market support
Nice.
band, back testing it, also above the blue level of my GAN. But it's got resistance, right? Just like everything else, 886 and the blue arc. So it's just waiting, right? It's just a matter of time. And Sui looks really good too. Bull market support bound breakout back test completed. Now it's even back testing the arc, and it's got some resistance above, just like everything else. 411. So yeah, the moral of the story is things are breaking previous resistance levels, flipping them to support. Some are trying to at the moment, but they all are still stuck under some kind of resistance, just waiting to go higher. All of them. This is just a matter of time. And this is probably the most beautiful thing I've seen in crypto in a very long time, right? The last time we saw something this great was like when the last previous resistance, like for Sui, was right here, the 184. When previous resistance flipped to support, it was takeoff time. That was the last time, right? We're seeing that set up again right now. So because of that, get ready, be excited. I think things are going to be mind blowing.
Wow.
All right,
I got
think
one more thing to blow
another-
you guys.
Yeah.
You going to blow
I
us?
got one more thing to blow your mind.
Oh my
Switch my
god.
screen real quick.
I know you're trying to top me. Wait, no, what? Huh? But yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I just want to show off.
Yeah,
We got. Did you guys see this? We've got some fan art. Live to be happy. If you, Matt, if you
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I
my
love
screen.
that one. Yeah,
Got it
the
up.
one with the
See the
posters
cat
on the
holding up
wall.
the
Yeah,
posters.
yeah, I
Yeah, there
love
we
that
go.
one.
Yeah, that's really nice. We've got my Imagine Dragons joke and Wilt Chamberlain's retired jersey back there. So thanks, Live to be happy. It's I love it. I'm gonna print this out and frame it. Brokeback Mountain in
love
the
that.
corner.
All right, guys.
thanks for
Flip,
all
flip
the
to me. I'll try to
kind
finish the
supportive
show in
words.
3 minutes. I think there are
Yeah.
some chart requests that are yet to be fulfilled, so I'm going to try to do that in 3 minutes. This is Robinhood.
Oh,
We're seeing Robinhood
wait a
here. This is a weekly chart of Robinhood. It's 0.886. Looks like it's trying to be broken. The week's too early. We don't know whether or not it's going to break or not. The basic thing is there's really not any gap here to be filled here on a weekly here at all for Robinhood. And the entire time, it just looked like a big giant round the bottom with a handle over here. And very interestingly, if you also kind of zoom into on the daily chart, also looks like there's a big giant rounded bottom over here. It looks like it wants to break through, but can it form a little bit of a handle all the way back down here to about $50 before going up? Or is it just going to push through and just keep going up? I think that's going to be a very, very mystery question here. Regardless, I don't really care. I hold a position. My cost average is 12 right now. I'm just going to let it do what it's going to do. But overall, in a higher time frame, this is a very, very bullish chart. It's going to keep going regardless of the exact path. Look at the Bollinger Band here on the monthly. It's fully expanded here. To the downside here again, is continue to expand downwards. And so far, it looks like a very, very beautiful chart. Look at the Ichimoku here. He also has backtested the conversion baseline over here. It looks like it wants to go higher. It's a little bit overextended away from the conversion. So yeah, maybe it's a little expanded. But overall, it already backtested what it had to backtest back in March and April. So I think it's going to go higher over time. SOFI. If you look at SOFI, we're seeing here, it's still a pretty bullish chart. As far as I'm concerned, it basically just pushed up here and backtest both the conversion baseline and the cloud over here. It looks like it's trying to push the tank and try to go up here again. Initially, I thought that it was going to be able to break over the baseline, and that was a very good close over here last week. But we ended up opening a week underneath it again. I guess there's going to be more sideways shenanigans. Whatever is they're going to do. Initially, I thought it was great that it was closing above the 20 moving average, but I guess it's because it's still negatively sloping. It just ended up like gotten underneath it again, and now it's resistance again. But regardless, it's trying to battle that zone over here. I think once it's done battling, naturally it'll probably go back up here to weekly bullish bands from around $17 or so. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Ultimately, I see Target going much higher. I've had over the next 2 or 3 years. I'm thinking about like $40, but that's another story for a different time here. Crystal Biotech, I'm guessing this is what you guys have requested, KRYS. It's a little bit around the top here on the short term on the weekly. On the monthly here, it looks like it broke the 20. month moving average. So I'm a little bit cautious. You can say this is a little bit of a bull flag here. Whenever it breaks 20, I always worry about it going down to the lower Bollinger Band, which has still got a ways to go. If you look at the monthly here, too, also broke underneath the baseline, and also the conversion line is also down on trending here. Maybe it goes down further. I don't know. I get a little bit worried whenever I see something like that, but it's also back testing in previous breakout zone over here. So we have to see how it reacts over here. It could still hold support. It could still repair these, high time frame stuff, and they go back, maybe have a bearish back test here and see how it reacts. But I'm not that secure about the stock right here. NBIS is another one that you guys have requested new BS. Look at the monthly chart here. It's been chopping. It's great, but it's still underneath a very negative sloping 20-month moving average here. So I'm going to be a little bit more cautious on that. It's also underneath the monthly Ichimoku cloud. So I don't think it's quite ready yet. Also underneath the weekly Ichimoku cloud here as well. So I don't think that it's quite ready yet. I get a little bit more cautious when things underneath resistance, as opposed to Rocket Lab, which has basically rocketed through the Ichimoku cloud and is trying to get closer to the cloud over time. It broken back above the base, they go back at the conversion here. It's looking like it's going to become more and more bullish over time. Look at the Bollinger Band here. It's also reclaimed the 20-week moving average, and it's also still looking pretty decent here with a nice bull flag. 20-month moving average is slowly catching up. The lower Bollinger Band is contracting a little bit, but overall, I think it's just consolidating sideways here to try to digest this move here. And it might very well end up just waiting for time to touch the weekly Ichimoku cloud here before it's just truly able to break out and go higher. This looks like a pretty decent chart to me, actually. And finally, the last stock here is BA. And after this, we're going to be done. On the weekly chart here is breaking back above the Ichimoku cloud. It's got a little bit of nice katana here. On the lower time frame, it's screwed. But on a higher time frame, I never thought that BA was like really anything I'm really interested in, because it's just been range bound here for a while. I finally broke inside the monthly Ichimoku cloud, but it's maybe it gravitates up to the top of the cloud. Regardless, it's range bound as far as I'm concerned. The top of the cloud here, maybe 268 if it gets up there, or maybe 240 if it gets up here. That's going to be resistance. And I don't think it's going to be that easy to break through because the momentum is not really with it. It's been reclaiming 20-month moving average. It's been oscillating here for about 5 years. So I don't know what the heck it's going to do. And I'm not interested. All right, guys. Have a good night. Oh, APP. Okay, let me do it. APP, the final one here. Yeah, I mean, APP it's a pretty decent. It looks kind of like Rocket Lab. I don't have much else to say. Reclaim the Tenkijin or conversion baseline over here. It had to backtest what it had to backtest. It looks like it's consolidating. Kind of got close to 1.61A, got rejected, and then it come back and backtested 1.272. It's also got a morning star look to it. I think it's probably going up higher over time. All right, that's it. AMD, man, you guys, one more. AMD.
Oh, they keep getting you.
All right, all right. AMD, the truth is it doesn't really matter because the volume has been downtrending on low volume anyway, and you're finding a very good support here. 0.382 actually found very, very good support at 0.5 as well, together with the monthly Ichimoku cloud. I think it's bottom. I don't think that's really a question. The question is it going to V-shape from here? Is it going to find a lot of resistance up above? I think it's bottom too. It's also touched the low Bollinger Band here on the monthly. You're going to get a lot of resistance here at 0.786, 130. You can get resistance up here at the 20-month moving average, is currently around 130s as well. You're going to get resistance up here at the conversion, which is currently 125. And that goes along with like a lower time frame. You're going to get resistance up here at the Ichimoku cloud here on the 150s. Even if you push through all that, it's just underneath all resistance. So you can, like, the time to buy really was down here. When you get up here, there's probably not much meat left to the bone before it gets rejected. I just don't know whether or not it's going to get hard rejected around like 120s, 130s, 150s. Regardless, a lot of resistance above. It's a bullish chart. I think it's going to recover, but I just think it needs time to kind of break through. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, number 3.
One thing wait, AMD 142. Yeah. That's all you need to know. It's going to 142 next.
It's going 142.
It's a
tracker says
142. 24% price improvement from where price is right now to at least the 3.2% fib extension at 142. Then if it doesn't get higher than that, it'll test back to 116 and 76 cents.
I don't know what DENT is. Is it?
I think it's a crypto. Maybe. Yeah.
It's range bound. Nothing to see here. I mean, it's consolidating, I suppose, but it's just I don't have any indicators to tell me a trend. So we're done. All right.
Yay! All right, and Tracker and I will see you guys in the morning. Yeah.
Yep. We'll be back again to do the regular thing.
Yeah, you guys do the regular thing.
Same Matt channel.
Yeah. While I spectate, and you guys can can keep doing what you guys do.
Oh yeah. All right, guys.
Have
Well,
a good
it's been real.
evening.
It's been fun. Yeah. Have a good evening,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Yep. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.